ladies. Just kidding. Awesome. Hello, everybody, all you go-givers. We are here today with our beautiful co-hosts, Grace and Sheena. And Sheena, who do we have with us?
We have Sam Steinhage and Julie. And where is Julie and Dinda from?
So I'm actually a little Welsh, but my husband is from the Czech Republic, which is what Dinda it comes from.
Got it. Okay. Very cool. Welcome to both of you.
So we all had a good history lesson before we hopped on here, Go-Givers. We can't wait to share with you. We love to diversify the giving. Awesome. So wanted to welcome you all. We have a special treat tonight. We have mega go-givers, Julie and Sam, that Julie has been amazing at sharing in go-givers. And thank you so much, Julie, for being so humble and taking the time to share with all the real estate agents and everybody who's on Go-Giver right now on how you have noticed others giving back to the community. It's amazing. And when I asked Julie to come and chat with us about some of the things that she's doing in her community, she said, wait, can we bring Elsa? And I said, of course, we can bring Elsa. So that's where Sam came into play. And so, Julie, first, if you don't mind, if you'll introduce yourself a little bit and tell us about what you've been doing with Go-Givers, and then we'll let Sam have a shot at that.
Absolutely. So my name is Julie. I live in Weston, Florida, which is kind of a little bit of an outskirt of Broward County. We say that we live in East Naples because we're pretty much the last city before you have to hit the Alligator Alley. And in this area here, we have a lot of, a lot of really great real estate agents, a lot of really great, advice and just really great people. And but what I specifically have started doing once the COVID happened, we're Samantha and I were actually considered essential. So we never stopped working. We did a lot of work from home, obviously. And, we just kind of, me personally, I just kind of felt like there was a way that we could give back. I worked for Houston's. I don't know if you're aware of it. It's Hillstone Restaurant, pretty much going through college and it was a really great job. I was probably making like six figures, going through school. And, it really hit me hard that like all of a sudden it was like they had nothing. It was like, everything was great. Everything's wonderful. It's South Florida. That's really how we make our money is through tourism and everything like that. And we really wanted to, one, help the restaurants. But then also there's so many people that are in our community that live paycheck to paycheck. And it would blow your mind, the emails and the calls and the texts we get for the thank yous and everything. It would blow your mind to know how much a really nice hot meal can literally change someone's whole week. And, we didn't really see that right away, but the emails and the thank you cards and everything that had been flowing in, we're like bawling. We're like, oh, wait, no problem. Let's feed more people. And so every week we've been like trying to feed more and more people because we know that the need is there. So, just a way to give back to the community. And I think, the way that I used my resources, obviously Sam's Elsa and everything like that. But what I like to do is I like to use my local community and, I give back a lot as far as my time goes. And so a lot of people like to give their money because they don't want to give their time. So we've been just kind of doing that and just letting people know what we've been doing as far as like, we've been feeding the National Guard. We've been feeding, we have one of the largest testing sites in the entire nation at CB Smith Park. And, these kids, they're really kids essentially, and they come from the whole entire state of Florida, and they came down to kind of help us out a little bit. They're not allowed to be with their family. They're not allowed to go anywhere. They go to the park, they put them up in a hotel, and then the next morning they go to the park again, and then they go to the hotel, and they have been doing that for 4.5 weeks straight. So we went ahead and we reached out to the National Guard and said, well, how can we help? Like, what can we do? And so we had one of the local caterers did this amazing barbecue spread. I don't know how, but we talked them into letting the guys have a couple kegs. So they had a couple beers. And the guys just I mean, they haven't done it in 4 weeks. They just sat down, they brought their footballs out, they just relaxed, and we just, talked to them and made them feel like they could just have a nice barbecue and just relax. So, just kind of stuff like that is what we've been doing in the community.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Julie, tell everybody how you're connected to the real estate world.
So I'm a loan officer. I actually, I got into real estate about 11 years ago. I worked for Douglas Elliman. It's in Las Olas, like right off of Las Olas. I was a real estate agent for them. My husband's a sports agent. He represents professional athletes, all over the world. So originally I got into it to run the sports and entertainment division at Douglas Elliman. And so we were kind of doing it. It was kind of flowing. And then I just realized that, dealing with, other professionals in the business and stuff. And I realized that I could really help in other ways, which is being a loan officer and just really helping more people than just the few. You know what I mean? I wasn't really feeling there's buyer's agents that are out there that are amazing at what they do, but I'm like, wholeheartedly, Samantha and I were talking about this like an hour ago. I'm like, if someone asks me to do something, I'm like, yes, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then it's like my whole day's gone. It's like I'm missing birthday parties. Like I'm like, and this person hadn't even signed a buyer's contract with me, and I'm like giving up my whole entire day. So I just kind of felt like my time would be better this way, but I love everything about real estate, and yeah, I'm in it for the long run, right?
Yeah. Awesome. You sound like so many of us. Don't feel bad.
True. Okay.
At least you're self-aware. And Sam, tell us about yourself and how you're related to real estate and what you've been doing to give back.
Sure. So just like Julie, I'm a loan officer with Radius Financial Group too. So I'm based up in the Boston area. I live about 11 miles outside of Boston down at the South Shore. And I didn't work in real estate prior. I've worked in hospitality. So I'm a spa brat and have worked in a spa management also as an esthetician. So that's kind of where I found my customer service and background and love for people. So it's just helping and caring for people in a different way. And of course, in helping throughout this entire, COVID pandemic, I really just started thinking, well, one, what can I do to help myself, honestly, because it's very, very difficult to go from, it's quite an extroverted position that Julie and I are in, and you guys too, into being trapped. So what can I do to get out, figuratively and be able to see people? And a friend of mine, I moonlight as Elsa, have in the past, and it's not, Queen Elsa from Frozen. And she reached out and she said, as one does. And and so she reached out and was like, kids are driving us crazy, parents are going crazy, why don't you jump on Zoom? It'd be so cool, and do a story time. And originally it wasn't as a fundraiser or really honestly anything other than like something wonderful to take up my time. So I started doing it, and then it became like hundreds of people were on there. And I thought, if every sign up that was on here just donated even like $1, this is a good impact that we can make on X, Y, and Z charity. So really that's it snowballed from a really silly, funny idea into a silly way to raise money for people who need it most right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sheena and Grace, and you too, Julie, what princess could we be to raise money?
I would probably have to fight you for Belle, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, Julie, you'll see me in person. I'm Snow White.
Oh.
And my 6-year-old lets me know it.
Oh, that's
cute. Cute. Well, I'm always, looking for princess partners. So truthfully.
Oh my God.
Sheena would be a great Anna.
Yes.
Perfect.
You could do an Anna. She
Yep.
would be a really great Anna.
Do we have to
Funny
say?
enough, my news reporter friend from the story last week is her name is Anna, which is wild, and she has blue eyes, red hair, like truthfully is Anna, but she's probably gonna jump on with me in like 2 weeks.
Oh, how cute.
I'm watching that
I'm really
first.
excited. I'm really like.
I watched Frozen with my daughters last week, and there's a part in the movie where the little snowman's like, what's his name? Olaf. He's walking around and he's like, hello? And then he's like, Samantha?
I know.
And he goes, I don't even know a Samantha. And I'm like, oh my God.
I was destined for this.
Oh my goodness, it's hysterical.
Well, Sam, I have to tell you, I mean, I think just from your story, what you told us, I mean, you've done everything that we always say, right? You found something that you're really good at and and used it to the biggest potential you can. Instead of just sitting and going, well, maybe I can do this, maybe I can do that. Look at what you've done just with that one idea.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Absolutely.
And we all should use our gifts that way, right? I'm sorry, Brittany. We all should. I think every one of us has a hidden gift or a gift that we can bring out. And look at you. I mean, that's just awesome.
Mm-hmm. Grace, I'm waiting on your princess.
I don't have a princess. I'll have to think of one.
Dig deep in that heart, Grace.
I will.
You got it.
I will.
I was going to say that Julie was kind enough to share your Elsa, the news coverage, Sam, that you had with Anna on there, which is super cool. So we'll take a peek at some of those reels as well. So, so Sam, going back to that, what are some of the causes that you guys have been raising money for?
Yeah. So, and one thing actually, Julie didn't mention, and I'll mention on our behalf, is both Julie and I are Rotarians as well. So that's, I think, where a lot of that drive kind of comes from too, is just, the drive to want to help others is really like the fabric of a Rotarian's like genetic makeup. So I think that's, something that has to be mentioned, because it's really cool that both her and I are Rotarians and that we're both really trying to help right now. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to the causes that, I've supported, so really one I was looking through Facebook and combing through, community pages, number one, to see what places were, requesting help and posting, that they were in need. So that was one thing that I did do. And I've just looked to see what type of places in Massachusetts can make the biggest impact. So I first started with, when this all first started, and a lot of nurses and healthcare staff in general was just out straight, and they still are, of course, but, that beginning stage was really just unbelievable. I come from a family of nurses and healthcare providers, so, I saw a lot of it firsthand. So the first thing we did was raise money and provide catering for some frontline healthcare workers down here where I am in kind of Eastern Massachusetts. And then also the aim was to provide lunch for the staff at the hospital that my mother is at in Western Mass. But she said that actually they were getting so much food donated, most of it from family members of COVID patients being treated or who had passed. So, we were thinking, what else could we do? And when I was little, I actually worked at a farm at the bottom of my road, as one does out in the sticks of Western Mass. And so I reached out to the woman who owns the farm and ordered. She was so helpful and amazing, and I was able to order 960 pansies and violas from her farm, pay for those, and then they were planted on all of the campuses of all the hospitals in Western Mass, in like patient areas and staff areas outside, just to do something to try to lighten the load and lighten their life. And then the main focus from there was really on food. There are a lot of people who rely on, their kids being in school in order for them to be fed. And I don't know if before this I really understood how great that need is. And so started with the Greater Boston Food Bank because there's a great organization and a really great way to reach a lot of people. So donated, about $1,200 to them. And then furthermore, just kind of broke it down into smaller communities too. And I've really tried to spread it from Cape Cod across, central Boston, central Mass, and over into Western Mass, since, I'm from Western Mass originally, and also a lot of the fans of Storytime are clear across the state. So, I felt like it was appropriate to try to divvy that up across. And then we did do a fundraiser to raise funds to have masks made, because the need is quite great there as well. And, frontline essential workers. So, Trader Joe's, other, the shelters in town, both their staff and their guests, the fire department. So there's a bunch of different things that people need right now. And that's the toughest part, is being able to figure out where the funds should go. And the one we also did was this wonderful charity called Hope and Comfort, which provides hygiene products to school-aged children and young adults in need. So, and right now, hygiene products are obviously, like, they're always important, but now more so than ever. And so they've been bringing and delivering, soap and shampoo and just toothpaste and toothbrushes, like all these things that we take for granted, and have been delivering them to especially like children in need. And I thought, this is Storytime with Elsa. It's children supporting other children, and trying to better their lives and trying to just keep them safe and healthy right now, more so. So really my long-winded explanation of all the different places that, we've been reaching out to. It's been really eye-opening, and I'm very grateful that it's come to this.
So Sam, how do people actually find Storytime with Elsa and, take part in that and donate to you? How do people actually do that?
So I've really just shared it on Facebook. That's where this whole thing is spiraled out of control.
Okay, Sam, if I share, is it okay if I share on your page?
Oh yeah, of course. And I haven't posted for this Saturday yet because work's been a little bit wild, but I'm going to post it later today. But yeah, so this is what the page what it looks like. The Storytime with Elsa. And yep, so the Zoom link will be right within the event page, and parents can just sign up using that event page, and they'll be able to log in from there. The Zoom is set up so that the cameras for the children are off for safety reasons, but I do try to talk to them as if I can see them, which, they love. So, and shout out their names and just interact with them that way. But then donation wise, donations aren't required by any means, but donation wise, they can donate via Venmo, or I have a PayPal link set up as well. So, yeah, that's
cool.
Oh, there you are. Look at you.
It's so perfect.
I was like, Sam, I hope you're okay that I'm using your Elsa headshot.
Oh yeah, don't worry. That's fine. Who I've become over the past few weeks, so might as well embrace it at this point.
Right. Well, hey, you've got to capitalize on it. I tell you what. But it was really cool. I don't want to go too much into your personal page. Look how gorgeous!
That's a good one. Look
Oh
at
my gosh.
Right, my background, check it right here.
That is cool.
That is super cool. And I see a lot of people. Hey, Nanette and Donna and Jennifer and Hayel and Robin. Hi to all the ladies that are watching. Absolutely. So super cool. And then I know that Julie sent a little reel that I'm going to attempt to pull up here. So give me just a second.
Sure.
Facebook isn't as friendly as you think it is when you are on these.
Yeah.
Do this real quick.
No, it's hard sometimes.
Yeah. Is there music or anything on it?
No, it's just, I just kind of went through a couple of the things that she did. I mean, I know that she kind of went through it. you know, obviously you see her here with the masks. And then when it first started out, she was going to the houses and like surprising them for like birthday parties and stuff. And
Yeah.
she was doing like the social distancing, like giving big hugs, like look in the corner, that's her giving hugs. So fun.
Oh, that is so sweet.
And then in the bottom right here, that's them feeding everyone. And Bob and her team, they do a lot of really, really great work in the area. But these are some of the flowers that she donated. And it was a great little, like group they have up there in Boston. So making us look good up there.
Yeah, super cute. That's awesome, Sam. Awesome. And
I
Sam,
really
I
like
always
the
ask
sun
this question.
setting and how I'm dark. I might have to go inside for a minute.
This question: what would your advice be to people that are wanting to give back to their local community, and what would you say would be their first action item to do that?
You know, I think that one, you can't go wrong with giving back right now, because anything you do is going to make an impact, because the need has never been greater. I mean, truly, as a nation has never been greater right now. So really any impact, anything you do will be appreciated. But I think that, you know, just like Grace said, and you know, what the Keller Williams, like, find your one thing. So this is my one thing for right now that really I'm aiming to focus on, and it's something that I enjoy doing. So, you know, there's all sorts of different things that someone can do, whether it's, you know, I'm also running like a highlight a hero contest right now, where yes, it's through my work page, but I don't care about that. I think that right now more than ever, people really need to be recognized for some of the unbelievable things that they're doing and going through, purely for one, they deserve it, and two, it's good for everyone's mental health clear across the board, to be able to see these like stories of light and love versus continuous like newsreels of COVID and sadness and, you know, the economy and all these things that are happening around us. But I think, you know, one way to get involved is, you know, especially like Julie and I, again, both being Rotarians, is you can always reach out to your local Rotary Club, honestly. And even if you're not a member, you can reach out just like, hey, like, I'm passionate. I need something to focus on that's going to bring light to my life and light to others' lives. And what can I do? So that's a great way, is by reaching out, because there's always different initiatives going on. And I don't know about you, Julie, but like my Rotary Club loves when people want to get involved.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
that's a
And
surefire way to get into the community.
Essentially, that's what Rotary is, like service above self.
Yep.
So like you go and you do all this stuff, but you know, even now in our initiative that we have now, I mean, this weekend when we fed over 225 families, and you need some volunteers to come in, and a lot of people can't contribute the time that maybe Samantha and I can, you know, to it, but just a nice early morning, you know, I always have my kids, like, you know, I have younger kids, like teenage age, 14. And so I'll have her come if we go and feed people or whatever, like, you know, she hasn't been able to do that recently because of everything that's going on. But, you know, that's a great thing too, to bring your family and and let them be a part of it as well. But yeah, I agree with that.
And Julie, can you tell us a little bit how you raise money to do all of that feeding of folks?
Of course.
Julie,
So,
I'm gonna come over to your page. Do I have permission?
yeah, of course. So we do we do a lot of our fundraising is done through our Rotary. We were very, very blessed in the aspect of I know it's kind of, you might have to go to my business page. So this page
It's gonna be too personal. You know where I'll go? I'll go on the Go Givers page, because Julie, you have a lot of stuff.
I posted a lot of stuff there. So what we have is we made a website. It's called rotaryfeeds.com. So a lot of our money really comes from that. We do fundraisers. A lot of it is really social media too, really spreading the word. I have friends that have donated $100 here, donated $50 there, you know, and just to kind of they want to be a part of it, but they really just don't know what to do. So sometimes when you just kind of put it out there and say, this is what we're doing, this is what we, this is, the initiative that we're having. A lot of it has to do too. We have a really strong committee, and our committee does just wonderful, wonderful things. They're very strong. Our whole thing started from 2 high school kids that were in our area. And to play off what Samantha said, we were like, well, let's feed the front line. We got to feed the front line. These people, they're working hard for us. They're putting their lives at risk. Like, let's do it. So we went to the local fire departments and we're like, we're ready, let's do it. What do you need? And they're like, oh, we don't need anything. Like, I don't want you to feed me. They're like, we're firefighters. I'm vegan. And the only thing that brings me joy is barbecuing. I don't want you guys to bring me pizzas and like whatever. Although they were very appreciative for it, but they said, I'll be honest with you. I know about 100 families that are not going to eat tonight. And I can give you a list of those names. And so we kind of turned the whole initiative around to feeding the front line, and then using them to actually like feed, like take care of the families that are really at need. And so what was great about that, and the reason that I think that we ended up raising so much money, was we weren't just feeding people. We were really just making them feel just like, it sounds weird to say make them feel human, but the way that we set it up was we called these local families and we said, okay, you've got 4 people in your house. So we're gonna give each of you $20. You each get $20. We're gonna give you a list of 3 local restaurants that we vetted. We picked them out and whatever. We're going to give you 3 local restaurants. You guys have $80 to spend at this restaurant. We allowed them to choose whatever they wanted. They ordered food. The food was delivered to their house. We paid 18% gratuity on all the food that we ordered. And then we paid them $10 to deliver the food. So not only did we essentially we wanted to help the restaurants, we wanted to help the people, and the letters that were coming in was like amazing. Like there was this lady, she's a veteran that got injured overseas. She can't even walk, and she's got 6 kids at home. She can't cook for them. She can't even sometimes get out of bed. She's in so much pain. And this was just a wonderful way to get this beautiful home cooked meal on their table and just feel human for a minute. You know what I mean? And so a lot of people really relate with that. And it's kind of like the same thing what they were saying with Samantha, how, like she's so good at that. So like find something that you really love and do it, because people feel that. Like people will feel. We have Guzman, she is the Women's Council president. She does something called Spark Her Change, right? So she's so passionate about it, and she's so beautiful, and she just kind of comes out and she's like, let's support women, and we love women, and we want to support, so she collects clothes for people to go back to work that maybe were a part of an abusive situation. She helps them get housing and all of that, and people just congregate to her because it's such a beautiful thing. Like I go through my closet and I'm like, yep, don't need this. Yep, don't need this. This looks great, but not on me anymore. Like, and I think it's really the passion that you have that really helps people to get excited, and in turn raises more money.
Mm-hmm. Do you know, Julie, this, I was thinking about this. I mean, I've been thinking a lot about what I'm calling the great pause. I think our lives have been paused a little bit. Mm-hmm. But it gives us a chance to see and to experience people like you and Sam, because without this pause in our lives, right, you would not have had the ability to touch so many people in such a personal way. Sam wouldn't have had that, that drive to do Saturdays. So, and I mean, please don't think that I'm saying that this has been a good thing. I think it's horrible. But I think if we look at it as it's a pause in our world, right? It's giving us a pause to know what is important, that kindness matters, that feeding a stranger matters, that loving on a child that just needs, Elsa to say, here I am, whatever it is that we can all do. I think that this is really important, and it's very impactful. And if we can all go away from this, in 2021, when it's behind us, I hope, just being kinder and gentler and more appreciative of what we have and what we can give.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, me too.
And you know what word, Sheena and Grace, that keeps coming up every week? We hold these chats, should I say, a word that comes up every single time we're on here is passion. Every time.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always passion. Find your passion, search for your passion, find something that calls to your heart and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sheena's a great example for the group for that. So
yeah, Sheena's amazing.
You may not want to say
that website right there. We actually put that together in like 4 days, and that's actually where you would go to make your money, to donate. And we have like Venmo and Cash App and
so smart.
Yeah,
so
right
what
there.
is this Harvest Drive? Tell us a little bit more about that, Julie.
So Harvest Drive is really, so initially what happens is, so in the Rotary, there's a Rotarian, and then there's Rotaract, which is college kids, and then there's Interact, which is high school kids. And so what we try to do is we try to teach kids, and we give them our resources to give, to be a part of it. And Harvest Drive is one of those things. So what happens is we have a local high school, and what they do is they collect food. That's kind of their main fundraiser that they do. They reach out to their families. They say, instead of charging at football games, they say bring 4 or 5 cans of food, and we get money from the Harvest Drive. And the Harvest Drive is actually where we've been getting the names of these families that have been really, really at risk. So we reached out to the fire department, we reached out to the police department, and really just wanted those at-risk families. And Harvest Drive, we get it. We probably had like 40 people, but we were like, well, that's not enough. We need to feed more people. We need more. So we reached out to Harvest Drive, and it actually turned into a really funny thing because Mayor Daniel Sterner in Weston and Mayor Ryan in Sunrise were 2 neighborhoods right next to each other. They were trying to get more. So it was like Weston would find 50 families, and then Sunrise would find 52 families. It turned into like no, I want to give more. No, I want to give more. So,
look at that maple syrup. Look at all that.
Yeah, and if you
That's
see
right
there, Renee Herman, she's the one that really helps us, really get in touch with all the social workers. And the social workers are the ones that are really helping us to get to connect the families that are really in need.
I think, Julie, what an amazing idea. I never thought about that. A lot of people give on a blanket kind of giving, and taking that extra step to seek out those that are really in imperative need. I love that. I love that.
I like to see all these pictures. These kids are so great.
Vicky Cartwright. Vicky, hey, I don't know if I said hello to you earlier, but hello, Vicky Cartwright Taylor. She said she's been in the Rotary at the college level, and that she's working on an avenue to help in her local area as well. And she said that she absolutely needed to hear this. And Catherine says hello. And yes, we always feel like people speak to our hearts when it comes to this, for sure. So. And
Rotary is one of those things that everybody, my husband's like, okay, you're going to join the Rotary. You just, it has like a stigma to it. And it could be true. It could be true. I mean, it is, originally it started a whole bunch of lawyers that were like, hey, let's give back to the community. And there's definitely a lot of good old boys and whatever, but it's, the women are really coming out in full force and giving and becoming president and just doing a lot of really great things, which, I get told on a daily basis, like, Julie, you guys coming in here and doing this, and it's just so wonderful to see the youth and everything like that. And even my daughter, she's a Girl Scout. She's been a Girl Scout since she's 4 years old, and she's going into high school. So it's been challenging for us because she does everything sports. She plays football, she runs cross country, she plays basketball. She's just she's an all-American in everything that she does. I don't even know where she came from. She's so great. But long story short, it takes up a lot of time, and Girl Scouts also does the same. So she's going into high school this year, and she came to me, and the only thing that she could say to get me to get her out of Girl Scouts, she goes, all right, listen, I'm done with Girl Scouts, but I'll join Interact. And I'm like, sold. I was like,
wow, cool.
Because another great thing that we do at our club is we do scholarships. So right now we do a golf tournament, which we raise almost $120,000 for our golf tournament, and we give it all to kids, all to high school kids that need money. Well, we're not having any golf tournaments next weekend, which is when it was supposed to go down. So now,
Ooh, how weird.
yeah, really. But the need is still there. And so we're just trying to raise money. We're going to do like a drawdown event, like virtually, and like, because the need is there. So, so there's all kinds of different ways.
Julie, you'll have to connect with Sheena. She is the queen of doing that all virtual. And I want to show Isel. Do you want to see Elsa? Let me show you Sam dressed up as Elsa. Right?
If you go to the top of my page, I think that news article or
oh yes, let me do that actually.
Thing is, what am I trying to say? Clip. There we go. Got there. Is on there.
Hey, there's other Sam G6.
Oh my gosh.
Not unique. Not that unique.
Who do they think they are?
We gotta go.
Let me show Isel, which is
that one right there. Yeah.
Look at this. Ready?
Let me see if I can play it. If you guys can hear it, let me know if you ladies can.
See the story time. Yeah. Do you want to do it?
Local to get Elsa's story, we knew we had to send our own Anna.
Hi, Hannah, all the way in Pennsylvania. Elsa from Frozen is using.
I don't think we can see it.
Oh, I can see it.
Oh, oh, there it is. I got it.
Among them. We met up with Elsa on Newberry Street. Wait a second, you remind me of someone. Of course, I knew her as Princess Anna. That's better. Her real name is Samantha Steinhage, and she's from Pembroke. She started Storytime when the coronavirus forced many parents to start working from home and kids to stay home from school. She posted the idea on social media, and now hundreds of families from all over are tuning in. I never ever expected this. It's really been very overwhelming and very wonderful. Each family can make a donation.
Is that Elsa?
This week, Elsa dropped off masks at Women's Lunch Place in Boston. She's raised $5,200 so far.
I realize so.
Thanks, flowers for Berkshire Medical Center, and meals for healthcare workers on the front lines. I'm just so happy that I can help even a little bit. And the gift she is giving to families through reading and interacting with kids. Ellen Quinn jumped on the trampoline. How high? Whoa. And of course, singing has been priceless.
We have a question.
Oh my gosh.
Sid called and just said they're so grateful for giving that
You do?
40 minutes of peace in their house and just the joy that it's brought their children. Elsa the Snow Queen, warming hearts all over. Good job, you guys.
Oh my goodness.
That's amazing. This potential viewer would like to know if you have any special powers.
I do. It's weird.
She raises a lot of money for people and brings them masks.
Oh, look.
Oh my God, you see the ice? She just made ice out of her wine. Yes, like wine. Whoa.
Really
Whoa.
good, Sam. That was really good. I'm scared now.
I don't know how that happened.
No, she didn't have one of them.
Okay. All right.
Elsa doesn't drink wine.
Isel, tell all your friends, okay? Tell all your friends. Come on.
That is just so cool. What a cool way to just give back to the parents, give back to the kids, raise the money. I mean, it's just like this exponential crazy effect. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's wild. Honestly, the pictures are the fundraising is wonderful. Don't get me wrong. That's really the best part. But the pictures and the videos that come after, some make me cry, but some make me cry laughing because they are so cute. They're
My brain is just going. We need to somehow figure out what to do with Sam that we can raise some money. Do you know that? We have such a big media. Such a big social media presence between the three of us, guys. We need to figure something out.
Yeah.
You know what we could do? We could do an Eventbrite where we all, like as many agents as possible, share it in their areas. And maybe it's like a requested donation of $5 and do one story night or day and raise lots of money for whoever Sam wants to give the money to.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, I mean, and you guys too, like the thing is that's cool about it, honestly, too, as well as that, like if like you how you do Red Day, you know, at KW, like that's like we could raise money for anything. Like it's, everyone needs it right now.
Yeah.
So truly, and that's been a really nice part about it too, is this being home has given me the flexibility where I have been able to do different things with it. Like I had a principal of an elementary school, a lower income public elementary school in Boston, who her kids are starving right now. Her kids are like truthfully in such dire need for everything, but all she asked is if I could do a story time for her kids, so that it just gave them like something to talk about, something to be excited about. And on that one, I did have, you know, got permission, and all the kids' cameras were on, like ours are right now. And boy, was it funny. But it truthfully, like I wouldn't have the time to do this otherwise. So, you know, like you were saying, Grace, like this is a terrible time. Don't, you know, it can't be misconstrued at all, but I would have never done this otherwise. And, you know, I'm grateful for the support and just to be able to help other people. So I'm on board and I'm game for anything.
Let's feed those kids.
You're
I
gonna
think we
be
should
an
feed
agent
those
soon.
kids.
Julie, do we know one? Just kidding. That's super cool. Julie, I'm going to come back and to your little reel very quickly here, if I could pop it up, and show people what you have also been doing on your front in addition to. Give me just a second.
And really quickly, Julie and Sam, I have to tell you, my husband, how many years ago was it? I guess maybe 20 years ago now. He was in private practice on Whidbey Island, Washington. He served as Rotary president. And I can tell you, there was no women. I thought it was a men's club. I mean, cross my heart.
Grace, there's a men's only, one of the last, if not the last, male only Rotary club is in the town over from me.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
wow.
it's very, I mean, everything's expanding, and now the women that are in I mean, I can speak for ours. We're one of the largest in our area, and the women, I mean, they are so valued, and you just bring a little extra something to it.
Yeah. Yep.
You bring a little.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, so we worked with the Dolphins. That's Vernon Carey. We reached out to him. Oh, pause this. Look at this quote from this little kid that wrote this. It was like the most beautiful thing. So it says, "Some people make your day better, and some people make your life better."
Oh.
Oh my God. For being someone who does both. Like, oh my God. Like this little kid wrote that from his heart. Like that's just so, like that's why you do it. Like that was the first one we got, and that was it. We're like, we're feeding 150 kids. We're like,
oh my gosh,
pull it out of our checking accounts, you know, like, and a lot of the things too, like with the Rotarians, we pay a quarterly fee. You're not necessarily supposed to network. That's not really what Rotary is, but essentially, you know, people do business with like-minded people. So kind of you make money with it. So it makes sense to go and do it. And long story short, we pay quarterly dues, which is like $250 every quarter. And we haven't paid dues this whole time because we're not paying for food and meeting and stuff like that. So a lot of Rotarians are just giving that $250 to us, just giving it to us to let us pay for college, you know, and then also to pay for this initiative that we have as well, which is great.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Sheena, how's the Rotary in DC area? Does ISIL know?
She knows everything. No, please, no. You know, here it's not. We you know, we're at the center of like nonprofit world, so it's kind of seen as you know, out in the suburbs and you know, retired men. That's really how we kind of see it here. So it's I don't know how active they are. I didn't know when you kept saying Rotarian. I'm like, I'm gonna look this up. I don't know what a Rotarian is. So yeah, it's not something I hear too often here. So yeah, to the thought of you two ladies there doing your thing and where we are with these retired guys, I'm just thinking they don't know what they're missing here. They don't.
It's true. It's true.
It is true. It is true.
Our Rotary is really pretty active, especially for kids. We just built a really big accessible playground. And our Keller Williams office got really involved in it as well, but the Rotary, led it. And it's I mean, I don't know why I waited so long to take my kids right before quarantine. And it's so cool because you don't think about kids that have special needs or kids that are wheelchair bound, etc., that can't roll onto things. So it's amazing. They're very active here, but I'm glad that you brought that to light too, because that would be a good place for us to start to see if there's any need as well. So super cool and awesome too. Look at all this that you're doing here. And I see, I'm going to try to pause it when it comes to your little spiel of everything that you have done very recently. Julie, I think it's towards the end, sorry.
Yeah, it's after so Vernon Carey, actually, we told them that we were feeding the National Guard. That was what that big group of people were. And he actually split it with us. So he
wow.
said, you know what, I'll split it with you. I'll come. He went, he didn't really stay the whole time or do anything like that, but he came and he was like,
so cool.
So passionate and just talking with the guys and shaking, not really shaking their hands because you can't really do that, but just talking to them and being engaged. And that was my point. My point is that you don't really have to do, like, if feeding people in the hot sun or going to the hospital, and because a lot of people couldn't do that. Like, a lot of people couldn't go to the hospital and feed these frontline workers because they're at risk or they're scared or they have, their families are with them and they just don't want to take on that risk. So sometimes, having, younger Rotarians or, or people that really have no problem doing stuff like that, really equals it out. And then what happens is those people that can't do it, they spend more time, reaching out to their friends and reaching out to their family and giving back in those ways. But yeah,
influence goes a long way, and when athletes go in, when we do it in the real estate community, we've talked a lot about that as well, as the passion is, you have influence. It doesn't always take a monetary donation. It doesn't always take, it doesn't take time all the time either. It might be a quick share on Facebook or, just influencing people that are in your circle to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. And people want to, like you said, be around like-minded individuals. So.
And sometimes when you do stuff, you think of stuff and you're like, okay, well, this is great. Like, we were like, oh, we're feeding these families. Oh, we're wonderful. This is so great. We love this. This is perfect. And then we realized they had one meal, but they didn't have meals for the whole rest of the week. And we were like, well, we got to fix that. So like this week, what we did was we fed the families like normal, like we've always done this for the past 5 weeks here. But on Saturday, we went to a local farm and we picked up boxes, like full boxes of produce, like to the brim boxes of produce. And the families came, they got a great big meal on Friday night. And then on Saturday, we gave them all this fresh produce for them to like have leftovers or whatever. So then that turned into like 4 or 5 meals instead of just the one meal that they were getting, or that would stretch out into 2 meals or whatever. So, you just kind of live and you learn and, do different things. Some things work, some things don't. You just got to kind of try it and then see what happens. So,
Julie, what type of real estate agents are always yearning for a system, to duplicate? What kind of systems do you guys have for keeping all of this logistically on track?
Our committee. We have a really great committee. I think that's very important. If you have like 4 or 5 people that go in on it with you, it really, really helps, because it's like, okay, you reach out to the restaurants, because it is a lot of moving parts. It's like, we had one committee that would call the restaurants, make sure that they were on board. Then we had to have another committee that reached out to the actual families in need, made sure they knew what they were doing. Then you had another family that was, or another group of people that was all social media and sharing and getting the name out there. Mm-hmm. Because if you have too much in one, if you're like, oh, hey, you do this, then it's like you get tired out and then you can't do it. You know what I mean? Like you can't take on too much. You just have to, know who to give it to, know how to, say, okay, well, you do this, and you do this, and we'll all meet in the middle and have a laugh after. But yeah.
Delegate. Grace, I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
No, I was just agreeing. Yes, delegation is key. You can't burn one person out.
Yeah, right.
And
Absolutely.
like realtors are like, I mean, not for nothing, but your community, like, you know, like you have your, you know, your area that you like to go into, you know, I like to, of course, now that I'm doing all this, everybody's like, I want to do something. Tell me, like, what can I do? And I tell my realtors, you know, get an ice cream truck, get a soft serve ice cream truck and have cars line up, they'll pull up, you take their order from the car, you order it from the ice cream truck, and then you give it to the families, and then the cars drive away. And it's something so small, not very expensive. You can even get loan officers to come in. We sponsor events all the time. Title companies will sponsor events for you, and you get the title and the loan officers to come in, pay for the ice cream, and then you and a couple other realtors, you know, whatever, come in, get the ice cream and just hand it out to the kids. And you know, in our communities we have kids everywhere, so like stuff like that is something really easy that you can do that really brings joy to the kids, because the kids are just dying right now. Like they are just like, give us something to do. At least
we know. We know.
Yes. So like if you do a ice cream truck, I mean, not for nothing. We when we wanted to do that, we live in, we always say we have condo commandos, which we don't live in condos, but you know, people that just are miserable and do not want anybody to be happy ever. And so you run into zoning issues when you have food trucks and stuff that come into neighborhoods. So sometimes communities don't care and sometimes communities do. And so you almost just have to do it like, instead of, we wanted to promote it, we were like, we're going to tell everyone in the neighborhood and they're all going to know and they're all going to come. But then you're going to have that one guy that calls code enforcement and says, get this ice cream truck out of here. They're spreading the virus, like whatever it is, you know?
Serve him first.
Yeah, and our mayor was like, listen, I mean, not our mayor, it was another mayor when we were all chatting and talking, but they were like, listen, just do it. Just go, just do something for your community. Don't have people standing on top of each other. Don't like, you know, don't be, you know, you're a lot of what people don't understand, and especially with realtors, is you're famous. You're more famous than probably anybody else around because your picture's everywhere. It's on your card, it's on your advertising, it's everywhere. So essentially you're a leader in your community. So you got to make sure with whatever you're doing that you're doing the right thing. And whatever you're doing, that you're doing stuff where people will see you and recognize you and know, you know, that you're there to help them and that you're there for your community and this is what you do. Like, you know what I mean? Like community is what you are, you know? So
Absolutely. I agree. It's that influence. It's that influence coming back. Right, Sheena?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, that line she just said, community. What was that again? That was amazing. I just forgot.
Community is what you are. Like that's what your profession, you know, you are the community, you know? And so, and is the best because I mean, I posted, you know, the Edelman family, they go, I mean, you could not go more above and beyond than this family does. They, you know, now they're having, you know, nurses, they're recognizing local nurses and having them come in and do fun stuff like that. And they do community events, like not community events, but like their client events. They'll buy out a movie theater and then all the people come to the movie theater, and they did it for the Lion King, which is really super cute and fun. But it's true. It's like, that's your community and that's who you need to look out for. So, and that's what we're trying to do over here with us. Anyway.
You're doing it, and we do appreciate you always sharing, Julie, and being so diligent. Keep those stories coming. We are gonna dilute the negativity and the COVID funk and mental funk.
That everywhere else, right?
Yeah, and continue to bring good and share that. And we appreciate all of the go-givers who are sharing on our page. We really appreciate it, and we hope that someone can take a tidbit, you know, either from Julie or from Sam to find what their niche is to give back to the community, you know, whatever that may be. And of course, don't forget to reach out. Julie and Sam are now both on, you know, both on the page. So if you have any questions, Sam, I think we'll probably be brainstorming something perhaps for you. And who knows, maybe we can all be princesses. Grace, have you figured out your princess?
I haven't figured out my princess.
We'll find one for you, Grace.
Yes.
I feel good about it.
Who's the Asian who's the Asian, like really pretty dark hair, like curly, well, I don't even know if she had
Mulan?
I don't know.
Look at her, look at her, look at her.
There's plenty. There's plenty.
Sheena, tonight we're going to be on Canva making Grace.
Yes, yes.
No, it'll be so much fun. That would be
I'm going to do it too. We're going to find you.
Yeah. Find me a beautiful Latina princess that I can be, and I'll pretend.
Pocahontas.
Or you could be Esmeralda. I know she's not a princess, but she's still beautiful and has brown curly hair.
Oh, look at you.
I know my Disney characters. I have to. Kids are on top of it.
Do they start asking, Sam?
Oh, the questions are, so we do Q&A during story time as well. So we start with 2 stories, then we do Q&A with the Queen, and then we finish with Steve, of course. And boy, the questions, they come fast and furious, but you know, it's all sorts of things. Where's Anna is number 1. I mean, I have to make sure that she is accounted for at all times. But also, you know, I've gotten, where are your parents? And like, well, that's awkward. You know, really, the questions can go anywhere. You know, do you like cheese? It's just anything. Or the best was, Elsa, why didn't you paint your nails? I'm like, whoa.
Was it Isel who said that?
Yeah, they don't hold back. They do not hold back.
Oh no. If they can type in the chat, then I know it's on, because there's no parent filter there. It's all them.
Well, yeah.
You got a bunch of trolls.
It is so funny. So funny. Elsa, why didn't you paint your nails? I'm like, girl, all the places are closed.
Give me a break.
You have to be fast-witted if you just pulled out the ice, you know, that quickly. Either you've practiced that, someone's asked, or you're quick-witted.
Or
And Sheena,
taking over my life.
Isel said Elsa doesn't drink wine.
I know.
That's the hardest and funniest part is honestly flying off the cuff with the kids, because truly, like, there's no practicing that one can do. And I honestly, it starts at 5:30. I'm probably ready at 5:25, and just go on. Because if I think about it for any longer than that, it's gonna just get sick.
Now, Brittany, did I send you the TikTok of Sam? I sent it to you. I'm pretty sure I sent it to your instant messenger. You'll have to see if you can find it.
Oh.
Sam and her TikToks make my whole entire life. I'll be honest.
Oh, actually, maybe the other day. Oh no, I don't see it. I don't see it, Julie. You got to try it
Sam,
again.
do you have your computer on?
Who?
I
Sam, so she can pull them up.
Oh, okay.
She can share her screen.
The one where you're driving in the car, and you know what I'm talking about. You're singing and driving in the car, and then you want to just at the end, just for dessert, to this wonderful conversation.
Okay.
Oh my gosh! Look at Sam. You're turning red, Elsa.
I know.
She is.
I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Okay, hold on. I'm finding it now. Okay. We're going to pause it. And you know what? I'll even make it big for everyone. Because
Well, I thought it was hysterical.
Are we ready? Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Gosh. Woo. Maybe it's just the wine that what Elsa doesn't drink. All right.
So you're sharing. Here we go. This is everything.
Something is familiar, like a dream I can reach but not quite hold. I can sense you there, like a friend I've always known. It feels like I am home.
Yes.
That's perfect. Oh my God.
fun with it too. It's
I love that one.
Oh, that is amazing. Oh my goodness. That is amazing.
Oh god.
Well, ladies, thank you. That was a great end note.
Yes, that was perfect, Julie. Thank you for telling us. Yes, thank you, Sam.
Thank you, ladies, so much for sharing. We do appreciate you. Please keep the Go Giving coming to our page and sharing. We truly appreciate you and what you're investing back into your local communities, and of course, again, to the Go Giver community. So we appreciate you. And thank you once again to Grace and to Sheena and all the Go Givers out there. Take care.
Yay. Good night.
All right. Thanks, ladies. You're amazing.
Bye.